Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dear Hallmark. My name is Dara, and you've just entered my space where we talk about all things Hallmark Channel. I know, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our cousins over at Great American Family and have a little family reunion and talk about some things that are going on their side of the woods. Okay. So she is no stranger to the made-for-TV movie space. I mean, she's no stranger within our space, of course. So I want to introduce to some, reintroduce to others, the Tinkerbell herself, Miss Cindy Busby. Cindy, thank you for being here.
Yay! Thank you. You know what? I just adore the opening parts to like the podcast that I feel privy to be a part of. It's so fun. I just feel so grateful. So thank you. Thank you for saying all those beautiful things.
Because they're true. I don't say what I don't feel. And
I get it.
so,
I feel the same way. I also don't.
yes. So, firstly, how are you? How are
I'm
you
doing
doing?
really well. I feel like there's a lot happening in my world. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot happening in everyone's world. In my world, it feels amazing and, messy and beautiful and all the things, but there's beautiful things happening. And actually, my mom's in town right now, so we're just
Yes.
spending a lot of mother-daughter time, which is so great. So yeah, that always makes me feel good. And I feel like as I get older, like my mother and I have always been super close, but there's like it just get keeps getting better and better is what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say. Like there's an understanding, there's room to grow, there's room to like understand who you
Hmm.
are and why you are and all those things. And I love
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I feel that same way with my mom, even like kind of switching that part of the brain where, and this happened for me like in my late 20s or so, realizing like my mom is also a woman, an older woman, navigating life in her later years. And so kind of having that perspective as I interact with my mom as I'm getting older too, like that's
Yeah.
something that I have to consistently be cognizant of. It's like yes, she's my mom. She's gonna always be my mom, but like she's her own woman,
Yeah.
too. Like she's not just my mom, you know what I mean?
Totally. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like a lot of that became true when all my really good friends started having kids. And I'm like,
Mm.
you're a mom. Like, we've danced on speakers and now you're a mom. Like, you know?
Yes, I was talking with my godbrother about that. Like when he first had, I think it was his first daughter. I looked at him and I was like, "You're somebody's dad right now. Like what is what is going on?"
It's so
Like
awesome. Yeah,
it was a minute.
the many levels of everyone's lives, and
Yes,
every level is just as important.
yes.
Here we are.
Well, you know what else is important? Food. And so I want to ask what I think is a great icebreaker question. Cindy Busby, can you tell us the last time you had a meal that just blew your mind?
Oh yeah, literally Tuesday night.
Oh, oh, this is fresh.
Um, I feel like I have, to be honest, I feel like I have meals that blow my mind a lot because I really appreciate food and I
Mm,
personally love cooking. I love making really delicious food. And the food doesn't have to be like the most indulgent, greasy, whatever. Like I'm just talking
mm.
like a real good salad with like every color under the sun and
Uh,
feta cheese and like a really nice grilled steak, you're just like, boom, that's a great meal. But Tuesday I brought my mom to our favorite restaurant that's like really close to where we live. And every time we go there, it's like a showstopper and we kind of get the same thing every time. And it was everything and more.
I
I dreamed
love that.
about it.
I love that. Speaking of things that I loved, I watched your interview that you did with Eric from Hallmark Mysteries and More. You did it like the tail end of last year, around like October and November.
Yep.
There was something that you talked about that struck a chord with me. He asked you about your definition of success,
Mhm.
being in the industry for as long as you have been, especially since you found your niche with this made for TV movie kind of space. And it struck a chord with me because I'm in that space now, kind of, just reevaluating different things of what's important, what's not, why is it important, different things
Yeah.
like that. And so I wanted to ask you, kind of like as an offshoot of that, this whole idea of passion versus ambition, and can the two things coexist? Or are they the same thing, two sides of the same coin? So I wanted to pick your brain about that as someone who not only is in this specific space, but who has been in this space for a while. And so, your perspective changes about things. So I wanted to ask you, in terms of passion, what does passion look like for you in this space? Like, is it important for you? Is it a motivator for you to keep going?
Like in the industry, like doing
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel like passion is very important. And what I've come to realize what passion is, because I think that's, there's certain words that people kind of say, and you're like, well, what does that even mean? Like, what does
Hmm.
passion mean? And for me, what passion is that burst of like inspiration where you're like in a flow state when you're doing it, and it's almost like time dissolves and is non-existent, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just in it and you're just like really enjoying it, and all of a sudden when it's ended you're kind of sad it's ended, but you're happy it happened, and you're also kind of like what just happened and that like
Hmm.
not like in a like you literally blacked out kind of thing, but it's I don't know about you, but when you're in such a great conversation and then you look at the time and you're like, "Oh my God, I've been here for 4 hours. Like, what
Yeah.
is happening?" You're like, "I gotta go. I probably have a ticket on my car." But like that kind of stuff. So for me, passion is kind of adjacent to inspiration, where like
Mm.
I feel when I'm in something I love, I'm incredibly passionate and I give it my all. Like having a conversation with you to me is a passion, and I really don't think it's only one thing. It's really
Mm.
about the energy in what you're doing. So what I love about acting is not necessarily like it's not like the fame or like the money or whatever. Like all those things are great. But for me, it's about when I'm on set and I'm connected to my scene partner, or I'm having really beautiful conversations with the cast or the crew, um, or even just being in the hair and makeup chair and I'm just like discussing like something in my life or their life, like I feel inspired and passionate. And I guess for me, it's about the work and being in the moment and bringing something to life, but also the
Mm.
passion is really connecting with people
Mm.
is what I've come to realize is when I feel the most inspired, and one of the reasons why I think I wanted to become an actor is because
Mm.
I wanted to feel connected to myself and to other people. And this is like a forced version of that where people
Interesting. Yeah.
are in that space where you're connected and you're passionate and you're creating something together. And something my mentor says is like being inspired is being in spirit. So you're like
Mm.
a conduit for like the flow and light and love of God and life. And I get inspired by that because to me that's like who and what I am fundamentally, and what we all are creators of our own
Hmm.
world, our own life. And in a bizarre way, I felt more freedom getting to do that as an actor than I did in my real life. And somehow that kind of overflowed into my real life. Now I feel more of that in my real life, and now it just overflows into my work. So
Wow.
it's I don't know if that answered my your
No,
question.
it does. It
So the, I
does.
think passion is kind of the thing that you look for in life, and then the ambition and the work is hopefully how you kind of fuel that. But I feel like if you're not living in your passion and your inspiration in life, no matter what you're doing in life, you're never going to feel fulfilled because you're not allowing yourself to like really live in that. It's the same reason why you can have all the fame and all the money in the world, but if you're not uh, passionate, inspired by anything, you're going to be miserable and you're going to find things to complain about and not be happy about because it's easy to be happy when you have everything, not really, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how do you show up in life and in the challenges and in the struggles? Like I was literally watching an interview today. It was like a small interview with Ed Sheeran, and he was talking about like how everyone talks about success, but no one talks about what are the challenges in life and like what are the failures. And like for me, I'm so much more propelled by I've come to realize like the success has been amazing, but like how I've gotten there and all the things I've had to do to get there are so much more interesting than the success themselves.
But I think it's interesting, which brings about the ambition part because we see this is the success highlighted so much. It's romanticized and glamorized, and then it gives people an appetite to want that. And then when they do come across challenges, it's like, well, wait a minute, why am
Yeah.
I going through this? Like,
Yeah.
why can't it just happen? But it's like, and even something you said, like how life happens outside of what you do. So that's why, like, it was either you or Britt Bristow who mentioned how important it is for you to know who you are as you get into this, the industry that you
Yeah.
are in, because that industry, they try to say, or you're this, or you're this, or you need to be this, or you try to put labels, but it's like life really happens offset. Like there's something.
Oh yeah. And like and you can only be as great of an actor or a performer or you know um I don't know like a successful person as successfully as you are in your life. Like I'm not going to be a good actor if I'm not a good human. And by that, I mean, like, I'm not showing up in my life. I'm not challenging myself. I'm not growing in my life. Like, how am I going to be a good actor if I'm not like doing all the work in my life? Like, how can I show up and be vulnerable if I'm not vulnerable in my life? How can I and to be honest, I thought I knew what that was, but I didn't until
Mm,
I really went through it. And I see it even in some actors that I've experienced where I'm like, "Oh, you're not quite. You haven't gone deep yet because you can see that they only go so deep or they only allow you in as much as they want to. Whereas like I feel like an ever like open fountain of like of a person who's just like come like I'm that person. I'm like yes, bring it, let's go into the trenches together as actors and like let's dive deep. But that's a really scary thing and like that's a
mm,
scary thing to do in life.
hmm.
So if you're gonna be that actor who's gonna get down and get your hands in the mud, you have to be willing to do that in life too. Otherwise,
Mm.
like how can you show up? How can you be the truth in anything? Is how I feel about it.
I 100% agree. They say that about writing too. Like
Yeah.
what's worth writing if you haven't lived, Because what are you pulling from? Like just like you mentioned, there's
Yeah.
always a part of yourself that you're pulling from that you're then using another character to tell the story of, whether
Yeah.
it's a specific event or a specific person
Totally.
or
Totally.
what have you. So let's talk about some of these characters that you may have played recently. The first one I want to get into, you had a Christmas movie this past season on Great American Family. There's no place like Christmas. Reuniting with Mr. Sam Page.
I know.
How was that?
It was awesome. Oftentimes when I sign on to the movies, I don't know like who I'm going to work with. And that's always my first question is like, who's the director and who's my co-star? Just because like I'm curious and I want to get excited and I want to know,
Hmm.
hey, am I reuniting with someone? And I think initially it was maybe going to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure what happened with that because it wasn't someone I had worked with before. So anyway, that didn't happen. And then my team called me. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be working with Sam Page," and I was like, "What? Yes." Honestly, I just adore that man so much. He's such a great guy. He is. He is the chillest dude. Like, like that's literally the best way I could describe it. He's just so chill. Like, he'll show up in his Birkenstocks on set, and he's just like in his t-shirt and his jean. Like he's just such, and he's just like a total babe, and he just like he's just like a good guy who you can have like laugh your head off with, and just like, and then just also just show up and do the scene and be emotional. And he's such a complimentary actor too. Like he has no ego about him, and he'll just be
Mm,
like, if we had a really good scene, he'll be like, wow, Cindy, like that was like he's very complimentary, very loving, very present. And also is just like what we were just talking about. Like he's like, hey, I'm an actor. I'm a husband and I'm a dad and I'm just like a human, like
mm,
acting isn't like his only thing in the world. And I think that's so important. Like and not to, there's a lot of people, everybody's got a different way of doing things, but there's some people you work with like where acting is like the only thing they want to talk about, or who they've worked with and who they know. And I'm like, that's cool, but also like what makes you tick, and like
hmm.
what are you like pumped up about in life? Like I love having those conversations. And so yeah, he's just, I could keep talking about him forever. He's a great guy, and I was excited to get to work with him again, and in a totally different, circumstance and different story.
Can I just say it's not a Christmas season unless we have a Cindy Busby movie. So I want to ask you, what do you like the most about filming these Christmas movies? Because you've done a skillion of them by now. So what would you say keeps you coming back to those specific types of movies?
I think it's because I love Christmas. People are always like, "Oh, you must be so sick of Christmas and Christmas decorations and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "No, it's like my favorite thing." Literally November 1st hits and I'm like, when I am I going to be put on my decorations?" Like, and the last couple years I've been shooting When Hope Calls, so I haven't been home on November 1st. So I'm like literally like Thanksgiving, sorry, gobble gobble is out the window, and we're just like putting up Christmas. And like people are taking Christmas like pictures from my Christmas tree while we're making Thanksgiving dinner. But I just love it. I love it. Most importantly though, what I love about it is how much the fans love Christmas and how much
Mm,
they love these movies.
hmm.
And so it's easy to want to make them for those who watch them. That's like fundamentally what it's all about. I love being on set and being with the people and telling these stories, and bringing these beautiful characters to life. But at the end of the day, it's for the audience, and that's really all I care about. And for me, what I love about Christmas um is kind of like what's the word? Just thinking about like the olden days, I love to
Mm,
like reminisce, and like, I think about the kitchen when I was like a teenager, and my grandma would be there, my grandpa, and like my mom would be cooking and running around, and my brother and my cousins, and like there's just something about that good old day that like those good old days were just like amazing, and
mhm,
there's something about Christmas that's what I love. It was turmoil, and it was beautiful, and it was madness, and it was messy, and it was people coming together, and it was connection. And again, like I think there's a constant theme in my life. Like I just really love connecting with people I love, and people I don't know, and getting to know other people. And so Christmas, I think, is like that one excuse for me anyway, that was like all about getting together. I know for some people that's Thanksgiving, but as a
mhm.
French Canadian, it was Christmas. That was
Yeah.
our time.
This has proven my case that your character from Everything Christmas with Corey Sevier, that wasn't too far off of center, because I was like, she is playing
No.
this too. I was like, I feel like this is just Cindy being Cindy, and all she had to do was just show up and
Oh,
just memorize some lines
and
because
the crazy part about that movie too, and I think I've talked to you about this, I can't remember, but like, is that movie came like so last minute for me. Like I was on a
hmm
trip with my mom in Spain, and then literally flew straight from Spain to Newfoundland, and we started this movie. Like it was crazy, but it was such a cool story. And also I had a super special relationship with my grandmother. So it was so easy to connect to that relationship because, my grandma is my angel and she's with me everywhere I go. And so
Mm.
that was really easy for me to connect to that story.
I love that. So let's shimmy on into Brookfield
Yeah.
because you have season 3 of When Hope Calls Brookfield
Yep.
coming out very soon. April 5th, 6th. It comes, there's two premiere days because there's one
April 2nd on PureFlix and then
Pureflix,
April
April.
5th on Great American Family. Yep.
Boom. So, can you tell the people without spoiling it, because there is a reason why we get Nora Anderson coming to Brookfield, which is a pivotal plot point if you guys haven't watched the that season already. But
Get it in you right now.
get you that. Listen, I got the Great American Pure Flix through Amazon
Yeah,
Prime. Like I just consolidate all my streamers in one, so I don't have to go, to
that's so smart. I love that. Yeah.
too many places. But can you tell the people a little bit about Nora and kind of her contribution to the town of Brookfield?
Yeah, so Nora Anderson initially comes to Brookfield because she had a kind of a family that was torn apart through some rift between her older sister and her parents. And so she didn't really get to spend much time with her sister, and subsequently didn't meet her nieces, which she didn't even know she had because her family didn't speak. And so she became a lawyer in the 1920s, which was less than 1% of lawyers were women, by the way. So that's like full body goosebumps. So just that alone to play that character has been like incredibly inspiring and amazing. But so she comes to Brookfield to connect with her nieces, who are Lillian and Grace, who ran the orphanage, and yeah, and then she's invited to stay, and she starts to meet the town folk of Brookfield and really feels probably for the first time ever where she belongs, and
Mm,
she finds a sense of purpose ultimately by giving back in the orphanage, which is also in an interesting kind of mirror way, like an opportunity to exercise what it is to have a family within the orphanage. I feel like
mm,
there's a growth that builds there. And also because Nora doesn't have her own children yet, it's also an opportunity for her to exercise her motherly presence,
mm.
which, as women, you don't have to be an actual biological mother to have that
Yeah,
maternal influence on
yeah.
on the younger generation. So I think that's
Mhm.
a really beautiful storyline. And then, of course, she meets this strapping man, played by Christopher
Mm.
Russell, Mountie Michael Fearless Fletcher. Say that 10 times in a row.
Right.
And there may or may not be some kind of back and forth excitement, perhaps a love affair that's building there. So, it's Brookfield is one of those places where people kind of go and like don't leave because they feel that sense of connection, community, and they kind of it's an opportunity to build a life. And I feel
Mhm.
like the moment Nora steps into the town, she kind of doesn't want to leave because she loves it. And then she also gets to exercise her ability to be a lawyer with the town folk. So everyone kind of leans on her for help, and she wants to help people because that's ultimately why she wanted to become a lawyer in the first place, is to help people and to really like, and not even just not for the money, but really just to help guide people in a way that perhaps she wasn't guided in her youth.
Mm. Because her being there and specifically being a lawyer, I feel like is a domino effect into different, like Sam's life, which then
Yes,
impacts Maggie's life. And so there's like a domino effect
absolutely.
but there's also you see the importance of her being there. Because think if Nora wasn't there, what would have happened with I'm telling you, I gotta watch the season because
Yeah.
because Nora like Nora's. entrance or her being in Brookfield, it really does the way it connects to everyone else's storyline. Like it's a beautiful Charlotte's Web, if you will.
Yeah.
Just
Oh
of
no,
like,
I love that. It really is.
yeah,
And I think not even just for Nora's storyline, but everyone's storyline.
yeah,
It's like, you've got everybody's stories, but they're all intermingling and they're all
yeah,
and you get to see everybody's chemistry together, which is so different because everyone is such a different type of person in this show. You really have a little bit of everyone and everything
yeah.
and I love that about it. But yeah, and at the end of season two, there was a massive cliffhanger, and so
Yes.
many cliffhangers actually, and so and so the beginning of season three will literally be a continuation of the next morning after that cliffhanger. So
Good.
we're not even like cutting the time. We're just like, hey, what was that about next morning kind of thing. So that's going to be very interesting. And I just remember reading those two scripts and I was like, oh. Um, that's the one thing well, not the one thing, but one of the many things that I love about the show is the pace of it, like is
Mhm.
so, you're laughing, you're crying, you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, and you've got all of those vibes going. And most importantly, one of the things I adore, and probably you as well, is it's a very female-driven show, which is
Mm.
so cool, especially in a time period where that kind of wouldn't have been the case.
Hmm.
So that's a pretty cool side of it.
Can I also say it forces, well, I'll say what it did for me. It forced me to slow down
Mm,
because up until I started watching it, I was watching a bunch of stuff that just went. It was just a lot. And so I
right.
was wired, everything was wired,
Like
and
you're watching like The Pit or something.
it's just, it's all the things, all the things. Like I was watching Count of Monte Cristo, I was watching
Right.
Young Sherlock.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And then I myself, in my own imagination, is just like a pinball machine, just like ever
Yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
this forces you to just slow down, take
Yeah.
a beat. And I could feel it in myself. I was just like, okay, but it's like, no, 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 no. We're not going to go faster than we need to. You're going to get introduced to who these characters are. You're going to see why they're there. You're going to see what they're doing. You're going to see how they connect. And after a while, I was just like, yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Uh,
I'm here.
that's a really great point because the world is very frenetic and very like
Frenetic. That's a good word.
right,
Yes.
like it's coming at
Yes.
you from all angles. And quite honestly, human beings have never been made to receive that much information from like all we knew was what like Brookfield is, where you're like, this is my bubble, this is what I live in, and there might be something going on 1,000 miles away, but I don't know about it because I don't have a phone, I don't have internet, and I don't have television. And it doesn't mean it's not important, but it's kind of like, what is important in my immediate world? And so yeah, we're such sensitive beings fundamentally, and to receive that much intel is just like is beyond what we were ever built or capable of receiving. And so I appreciate you saying that because I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people I think have really connected with these kind of like period type shows because
Mhm.
it brings you back to a slower time. It brings you back
Mhm.
to a simpler time. It was a hard time. It wasn't an
Mhm.
easy life, but in a lot of ways it was a lot more simple and
Mhm.
connected again for the 17th time
Mhm.
with your community. You helped each other out because if you didn't, you'd literally die. Like that's pretty much it.
That's what I was going to comment on. The hospitality of strangers is
Yeah.
mind blowing. And it's something that I yearn for now. But we're too industrialized and stuff is too
I
crazy. But it's
know.
like to go back to, and oh, who was it? The young lady who is the niece of Mr. Lawrence who passed away, her uncle. She was coming,
Oh,
was it
Hannah, who played by Sarah
Hannah?
Paulson. Hannah?
I forget if it was Maggie or your character, and she was talking about how she just needs a friend, and you're like, well, you found one. And I
Yeah.
was just like, You, how easy is it? Like, how easy is
No,
that?
it's really, you're so right. And especially as you get older, like as an adult, you're like, how do you make friends anymore? Like you're like, hey, you're like cool. Do you want to like I've seen videos where you see like a 5-year-old in like at recess and the kid like does something and then the other one's like, hey, do you want to be my friend? They're like, yup. And then they
Yep.
just like they're literally like at each other's birthday party that night. And you're like, how does this happen?
It's so beautiful though. So can you
Yeah.
as we are looking into this new season, can you kind of tell us where Nora is as, and you mentioned it a little bit in terms of we're picking up where we left off in season 2, but what would you say kind of is there a theme for Nora this season? Is there like kind of a thread that is kind of pulling throughout the season that we can expect to see from Nora?
Yeah, I think so. She's left, at the that she might be in some trouble with the law
Hmm.
at the end of season 2. And, the person she's having feelings for is the law. He's a Mountie. So that in and of itself is a bit of a thing. But, and then she's also like really navigating this orphanage, which feels very uncomfortable for her because she's like, she wants to do well. She wants to be there for these children. And really, I think there's an insecurity there that keeps kind of coming up where
Mm,
she wants to like level them up and
mm,
show that they each have value and each of them like come like have these moments where like I don't know like what I'm good at, and she like really helps shine a light on them, which
hmm.
I think is such a beautiful thing. So I think in a lot of ways, the orphanage and her world with the kids and her world with Michael is about her finding her own place and taking up space
Mm,
and um and showing that uh her place that might be compromised in the law and her job, which she's already had to fight tooth and nail to get to where she is, and
yeah,
she's not letting it go. And so she has tenacity, she has integrity, and she just kind of is a trailblazer, really. And she's
yeah.
kind of blazing through this season. So there's 2 episodes in particular, episode 3 and 4 that I mean all of the episodes, but 3 and 4 to me were really beautiful and challenging. And I really got to show the very different facets of Nora, which I can't wait to see how that turned out because I had a lot
Mm,
of fun. It was very emotional, very like how do you show strength,
mm.
confidence while also being like not confident and vulnerable? Like all of those pieces together is really like we all deal with those things in life.
Yes,
But to be able
yes,
to convey that in such a truthful way when it's on camera,
yeah.
it can be such a daunting task. But I did the best I could and I felt really good about it. And there's like some great dialogue in there, Alfonso and Sarah Snow and Kristen Hansen, like they're just like such incredible writers. And yeah, I don't that's a very long description of the season, but
No,
there's some really
I
good
love
stuff.
it. I'm excited about it to see kind of where her journey takes her in terms of her like how she navigates the orphanage, how she navigates the town, just in because and this I think speaks true to you too as Cindy Busby, but her just always availing herself to people and wanting to help people and wanting to see people either be well, do well, be happy. That's a commonality I see between you as Cindy Busby, but also Nora as well. Hmm.
Something really interesting that I've found throughout my career, and I don't know how other actors feel, but in my experience, this has been true, is everything I've played or every audition I've had to a certain degree or all the people I've ever been surrounded by on set, it's always happened in like the most divine timing.
Mm,
And this show and the storylines I get to tell in it, and Nora's personality and the things that she navigates are in a lot of ways things that I'm either currently navigating, have navigated, or I'm about to. And I'm like, oh, wow, I'm experiencing this through her before I do. And
Mm,
it's been great. There's a specific storyline in the last episode that like this scene was very emotional and whew, it was hard to keep it together in that scene because it was
mm,
so meaningful. And myself as Cindy could really feel it. And so it was just like an easy ripple effect
mm.
to bring that to life, which is always super fun.
What do you think if you as Cindy could give Nora Anderson a piece of technology that you feel like would be advantageous for her? What do you think she would most like want or be thankful to have?
Oh, huh. I'm trying to think if I want it to be like law oriented or kid oriented.
Mm.
Maybe like a washing machine,
Mm.
like a dryer.
Because y'all are always doing laundry. And at
I
least
mean,
one
listen,
episode, y'all are doing laundry. I love it. That
like
makes so
when
much
you got that
sense.
many kids, you know you want to like be cleaning clothes like day in and day out.
Yes. You know what I'm thinking for Eleanor? A KitchenAid mixer. I'm like, she would find, oh
Yes,
my gosh.
I
She would.
know. Yeah, that would be so, so great. Yeah, I don't know, something like that, or like the ability for her to like, I don't want to say like the internet, because like the internet
Yeah.
is, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but like a phone would probably be good, like just like a straight up landline,
Yeah.
the like the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Cindy, I want to give you this moment. I'm calling it my shout out segment where you could just highlight or recognize someone or something that you just want to shout out, bring awareness to, whether it's someone or something.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, who do you want to, or who or what do you want to shout out?
Ooh, well, you know what? I'm going to shout out two things. Number one, I'm going to shout out. I'm currently, as everyone knows, I have my girl Susie, my pup that I love, my little rescue, who's like absolutely changed my life, and we're currently fostering a dog that I rescued from a shelter that was on the euthanasia list, and we literally like were able, I'm fostering her, and I got her through a rescue who jumped into the wild farm rescue like within 6 minutes of my girl's euthanasia time. So I hopped in the car before and I went and got her, and she's been with us now almost 2 weeks. And
Wow.
I just really want to shout out all the amazing people who are working with rescues, who have rescues, who are fosters, who are working in shelters, who are advocating for animals everywhere, because quite honestly there's a really it's not a good situation for animals, and
Mm,
animals are a reflection of us, and how we treat them is incredibly important and is a reflection of us. And I'm reminded of, remember when Bob Barker used to always say, "Half your pets spayed or neutered. Good night, everyone." Say that at the end of every show, and I never really understood that until I started understanding rescue, adoption, and what is really going out there for animals.
mm,
And so I just want to give a shout out to all those who are working so hard to save the cats, the dogs, the reptiles, the hamsters, like everything, because it is a thankless job a lot of the time. It's a really rough
mm,
one. I've only seen like a peep of it, but I just have such a profound respect for that. And I didn't know about any of that growing up. And it's something I understand more and more why adoption and rescue is important. So I just want to mention that because it's a passion of mine and I
yeah.
think it's really, really important. And the second thing I want to shout out is you because I just adore you. I think you're such a light in the world, and I really, really think that you are a magical person. I felt that way from the moment I met you. And whatever it is that you want, I know you could have it. I just know it. And it just shines. It shines like right through the screen. And everyone who listens and watches and knows you knows that. So I'm not saying anything new, but I just want to say it because I just really appreciate you, and it's always an easy yes to come on and chat with you. So thank you, and I just want to say congrats on everything you do because it can also feel like unseen, or does it even matter or whatever, and it does. Honestly, it really does, and I just want you to know that.
I did not sign up to cry this episode, Cindy. Okay, I did not sign up to cry. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Of
Thank you
course.
so much.
Yeah.
Well,
I
as
mean,
I
you
do,
gave me the space, so I had to do it.
but as I normally do with all my guests, I always want to give them the last word, and this is where you could say anything you want. You can talk about salad, you can talk about Brookfield, you could talk about acting, you could talk about cameras. Whatever you want to leave the people with, this is your moment to do it. You have the floor.
Wow, so much pressure. You know what? I think what it comes down to is whether you want to be an actor, or whether you want to be a performer, or whether you want to be a dentist, or, work at an ice cream shop. Just do it. Do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else, because everyone else is going to have an opinion. They're going to have a different perspective. They're going to be coming at it from something else and have completely different experience than you, and they won't understand why you need and want that. But the only person who needs to know that is you. Honestly, just do it for you. Do it for your higher self. Do it for your younger self. Do it and appreciate the journey. Don't wait to get there. Like, don't anticipate getting there quickly, or why am I not where I thought I would be. I mean, where are you even supposed to be? You don't even know. But have faith and trust in the journey, and remember to acknowledge how far you've come, because honestly, we really don't do that enough. We really need to acknowledge how far we've come. Those baby steps are still steps. They matter. And sometimes you're going to take two steps back, but that's just a reorientation, a recalibration, and that is okay. And there is no timeline. There
Say
is
it
no
again. Say it
timeline.
again for the people in
There
the
is
back.
no timeline. There is none. There's none. And if anything, the longer you wait, the more wise you are, the more grounded you are, the more confident you are. And I can't say that enough. I'm telling you, it only gets better, and just keep doing it for you. Forget about the external world. The external world is there to challenge you. This internal world, if the compass is correct and is like aligned, it's gonna guide you wherever you want to go. So where do you want to go? Only you know that.
What else I gotta say? Nothing.
And then also watch When Hope Calls
Yes, please.
on Great American Family April 2nd, and on Great American Family on April 5th, and Great American
Yes.
6th on April 2nd.
And get Great American Pure Flix now so that you can binge the second season so you can be all caught
Yeah.
up so you can know why whatever's going to happen in that first episode is going to be happening because you're going to need context. As Cindy told us, it's a contextual first episode.
And I'm
So,
telling you, there's
ooh,
going to be one heck of a another
oh no. I gotta ready my mind. I gotta ready my mind.
gonna be great.
Well,
But thank
Cindy, thank you so much for coming
thank
into the
you.
home of Dear Hallmark. This was just
Always.
pure delight. I enjoyed every minute of it, y'all. So again, please, y'all get Great American Pure Flix so you can watch the second season of When Hope Calls and then be ready for the third season of When Hope Calls. And she's Sydney, I'm Dara. And in the meantime, between time, watch a Great American Family movie that brings you joy. And I'll talk to y'all in the next episode. Ciao, my friend.